Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Jamar Harris, also known as Black V, and this is a Down in the Valley podcast, a platform where we take many brothers who have played in the Volney Rogers League, which most of those of us who played in it all remember Down in the Valley where the green grass grow chant, which hence the name comes from, where it's a chance for us to be able to give props, respect, show love, and honor, whether it's coaches, whether it's fellow football teammates, or whether it's even the opposition that we played against that made us all step up our level or who inspired us or pushed us to make change. Um, with this platform, it's an opportunity for us to be able to help inspire others, but also inspire those that we have played with to go ahead and remember that and remember where they came from, and hopefully use that energy and that effort to inspire and build off of this platform to have other opportunities. So if you're interested and you got a story to tell, or you got some amazing coaches that you feel deserve mentors, father-like figures, coaches, heck, even if you was a cheerleader and there was a cheering coach and she sat there and inspired you as a woman, as a young girl, to stay away from so much drama, so much of these boys that was trouble, because we was all boys at one time and ain't no better to be trouble. This platform is an opportunity for us to give those flowers to those individuals. So I thank you. And I'm not going to introduce my guests. I'm going to let the guests introduce themselves, and y'all can name y'all teams that y'all rep when y'all introduce yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start with, I'm going to say the best for last. So I'm going to start with the homie George. George, starting off first, brother, you can go ahead and introduce yourself, what you repped and what position you played too, if you don't mind.
I was with the Elks. Started out with the Elks. I don't know why my phone sound like that.
You sound all right on our end.
All right, well, I played with the Elks, and I played with the Little Panthers / Titans when we converged over. So those were my two squads I played for the whole time I played in Volney Rogers League.
Nice.
Oh, my bad. And I played cornerback, played a little bit.
I think his phone is freezing. Is that his phone freeze up?
I played tailback.
Okay. All right. My fellow high school teammate, so he's a Tiger alum, so I'm gonna make sure I throw that out there every chance I can.
That's right.
Next up is a legend. I don't care what anybody say. I played with this brother in Little League, like I think almost all my years. Mook, me and you have been teammates just about almost all our years, Little League and stuff. So I went from being a guard and a tackle with him to playing cornerback with him, and then both of us moving up to the bigger squad. So I'm gonna let you introduce yourself, Mook. And I know what you rep, but I'm gonna let you go ahead and tell the story.
Mook, straight Northside Knights. Only team I ever played for. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Three-time champion.
Yes, sir.
You know. And I think they had one of the best. I think one of the best teams in Volney Rogers history. You know what I'm saying?
You think about that roster? Oh man.
Hey, people don't know about the last team I played for. You couldn't even make it past the 50. That's how good we were. We was loaded that year.
Loaded. Brother, I appreciate you for being on. I'm going to say this, guy. I don't care what anybody say. There's some amazing legends that have played for this team. And all of us here probably at some point in time all said the words, "We hate them damn Broncos." But this is one of the best Eastside Bronco players ever. He's got to be top 5. You can name all your other guys you want to name with. But if you say Eastside Broncos, you better mention the name Joe Love. He was probably the fastest dude that wasn't a wide receiver, quarterback, or tailback in Volney Rogers history.
Always want to play running back though. they wouldn't let me. I was better on defense.
Yeah, brother. Go ahead and introduce yourself, brother.
6 years, 4 championships. I played every position on the offensive line and the defensive
Nice. Somebody's echoing. I think we're cool now. And this man right here, Joe, did you have some more to say? I'm sorry, I messed up. I'm sorry. Oh, all right. So this guy right here, Coach Kev, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can.
All right.
Yeah,
so
I can.
We say the best for last so far out of the group that we have, and this guy, whether he wanted it to or not, he was the father figure to, I don't know what, you coach hundreds of kids, and it's sad. As much as it breaks my heart, I heard you started out as a coach on the Broncos. Is that true?
You talking about me, man?
Yeah, talk about you.
No. I actually started. No, I started out at the Youngstown Little Hard Hats, man.
Oh, okay. I can live with that.
Youngstown Hard Hats in 19. No, it wasn't the Broncos, man. You know how we felt about the Broncos.
We felt the same way about the Knights. The Knights was like the nemesis.
Right, exactly.
So you started off.
When I started, the Broncos had the product in 1980.
Wow.
Some of y'all wasn't even born then. A lot of y'all wasn't even born then.
Yo, look at that. So, shout out to Uncle, the Uncle Vibe, the greatest guy. There we go. The comments already coming in. Guys are sending their props and everything like that. So I there we go. What I wanted to do is I'm gonna start off with this, and I'm gonna go to the youngest. I'm gonna go to the youngest in the room, which would be Georgie. Georgie's the youngest in the room. What coach for you stands out, you would say, from Little League that just stands out all the time? Like, you just always, like, I don't want to say imprinted, but made an impact on you so much that you, like, or one or two coaches, but them two coaches that stick out to you no matter what, like, you just remember them in your life.
I mean, you from the north side, you played for the Elks. Everybody got to give Coach Rutledge some love, man.
Okay. Coach
Rutledge was that dude. Him and Coach Dowdy for the Elks.
Right.
They came around. And I'm gonna say this too. He didn't even have to coach, but CJ dad.
Oh, Mr. Latson.
Mr. Latson was. Let me tell y'all something, man.
Yes, sir.
He didn't never coach. But if you really want to go down to like getting nitty gritty on like supporting the youth, making sure we was on top of our stuff, some of us, like you said, we ain't have our dads around. Money wasn't like that. And he going to buy his helmets, buy his equipment, make sure you straight. Gave you pep talks. That's my north side family there. Right. I say my east side family for the Panthers. Like I say, man, you had some coaches that was like, you had your hype coach that had you run through a wall. I'm gonna say Coach Blade was my dude. Everybody be like, yo, Coach Blade, hey, he gets you motivated, man, get you ready. In fact, he ended up coaching for the Knights a couple years ago. Slade,
right?
You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I remember Coach Blade, and like I said, man. Thing about him, man, we used to get hyped up. You spend the night at his house before the game, and I mean his pep talks. Hey, you want to be strong? We get you on that bear crawl. Drop you some bear crawls. It was stuff like that, man. That had you hyped up, man. Coaches wise, you got to look at it like you had some coaches that was smooth. Coach Juan was one of the coaches that was laid back, chill, but he'd talk to you, pull you to the side, You had your coaches that just like, get your mind eased. If you get a little upset or rattled, one coach might get on you. So it was like a counter. You know what I'm saying? Right. But them coaches, like I said, I give them all props, man. Like I said, it ain't a team that I ain't played for that ain't had no outstanding coaches. You know what I'm saying? As far as Little League.
Right.
All the coaches really and truly was, like you say, father figures, man.
Right. So I'm gonna go to the East Side Bronco next. I'm gonna go to Joe Love. Who was that coach or them coaches that stood out to you, brother?
It's probably Coach Floyd. He want to like put me on. He would come up to the Ken Big Project, pick all the kids up, take us to practice. We probably tore up probably like 3 of his cars that whole like 6 years. Yeah. So he want to put me on to Coach Floyd. And then after I stopped playing for the Broncos, he still kept in contact with him until he like passed away. And yeah, probably like Coach Noob. Coach Noob was always in my face. He was like always like it'd be the disciplinary coach, like to make sure I was doing everything right. Because even though I was considered like one of the team, he treated it like one like no special treatment.
Right.
So I say Coach Noob, Coach Floyd.
Right. Luke, I'm gonna let you go next, brother.
I'm gonna start off with my favorite coach or coaches. And you know, Coach Kev and Coach Oz.
Yes, sir.
Like I always said, man, they was like a father figure to me.
Yes, sir.
The most down to earth men you could ever meet. You know what I'm saying? If we ever need to ride to practice and we didn't have a ride, Coach Kev always came to pick us up in the pickup.
The pickup, yep.
That pickup from GM. You know what I'm saying? I love them dudes, man. You know what I'm saying?
Very influential, brother.
Very influential. Well, it wasn't really a male influence when we was coming up. And it was something they didn't have to do.
Yeah. Coach Kev will be back. His phone keeps dropping. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Those are my two. There's a third one, which is Coach Carter, and he passed away a couple years ago. Coach Carter was a coach that kind of grew on you. You know what I mean, man? When he coached us, like we got to the biggest squad. Yeah. So, Coach Kev and Coach Ivan, man, I remember all of us used to be at practice. We argue who gonna ride in Coach Ivan's Jeep. Like we'd be like, man, I'm riding with Coach Ivan, man. I'm riding with him, man. or here's another coach, Coach G. He passed away, God rest his soul, but he had the white big body. He used to always come through. We get to ride with him and stuff like that. You know, say Wallace's dad, like Big Wall. He was like he was that one that is sit there. We had some amazing coaches, and they all played specific roles. It's like Coach Kev had his staff like it was put together to right in my eyes, because all of them had important certain roles. You had the coach that'll sit there and pull you to the side. Coach Kev like, nah, baby, you're gonna have to think, oh, y'all playing with me. He sit there, get y'all, and you know we hate it. And even though all of us are Tigers, we all know that hill right there, and you was not trying to do them bear crawls up that damn hill over there by Rand or run the bleachers. So, yeah, I agree with you, bro. It's this amazing father figures. Those were the guys you feared probably next to your mom. Yeah. Those are guys you didn't want to let down. Those are guys that would pick you up if you were acting up or whatever the case. Those are the guys you fear probably next to from going home. Most other place you fear besides going home with bad grades is probably the football practice. Let Coach Kev or one of them guys find out that you messing up. You know what I'm saying? So it was pretty awesome. It was the guys that we come off the field crying, bro. Pick your head up, baby. It's okay. Go get your hot dog and your little juice. We gonna get them back. We gonna get them back. So I thank all those guys, because it sucks that we don't process it and appreciate it then as much as it's great that we do now, because it's not too late. But the ability to be able to know what we had back then, I would have probably hugged them a lot more, because those were guys that you didn't want to let down. Those were the guys that even though you went up to high school and you would get playing time and stuff, you still remember those guys who showed you the right way to play football, the right way to hustle, the right way to respond. Because Coach Kev, none of them coaches I've ever played for ever let you get away with disrespect. I didn't care who you was.
See, like you saying, now some y'all is playing for the Knights. And I'm gonna say this, man. Like I said, the two teams I played for both sides of town, the competitive nature, what everybody got to understand, it was more so of like you got respect from the coaches because the coaches was in your neighborhood. The coaches was y'all stayed in the same area. You had to look at these coaches on a regular basis. If you stayed in Westlake, if you stayed in the Kimmelbrooks, you looked at these coaches. If you stayed on the north side, period, coach could roll down on your touch at any given time. So your mindset is like, man, dang, man, this, like you say, it's like a father figure. You can't never really let these cats down because at the end of the day, they know every move beforehand. But the level of respect that you gave them was because they demanded respect. You know what I'm saying? And you didn't, coaches might argue a little bit, but the coaches we had back in the day, man, y'all was so tight as a brotherhood. That's what we seen. Like, you ain't see the coaches beefing with each other like that, not dealing with this and this and that. Them coaches came to represent because, hey, how many teams, like we was sitting there saying beforehand, you had about 3 teams on the north side, you had 3 teams on the south side. So everybody was pretty much like, all of them know each other, but they compete and talking stuff to each other. So they crews is tight. They family. You know what I'm saying? It's the competitive nature. It's the I want to be the best. I'm gonna have the best team. And they developed their squads with everybody that they jailed and clicked with. And that's why I think we respected them more. You know what I'm saying? I respected a lot of the coaches more because I didn't see my coaches arguing amongst each other to the point where they was gonna throw hands at each other. Nah, they like, hey, yo, we getting these players together. They cared about the athletes more than anything else, man.
Bro, and the best part about it is anytime it could have got to that point, the other coaches was there like, yo, pull them to the side. They knock it off. And that we running gases because they over there arguing.
Yeah. But the thing is though, it was a pride thing, man. It was a pride thing of like just striving to be the best.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody wanted to be the best team in the city. If you was in the league in Volney Rogers, like I said, the Elks, we couldn't stand the Knights. We wanted to be the best. You know what I'm saying? The talent that came from there, it was all about loyalty. You stayed where you was at, and the coaches made you believe you was like, a priority, man. That's what I loved about the league, man.
Yeah. It really felt like overall. Is that Coach Cad back? Yeah, there go Coach Cad back. It really felt you were playing with your brothers. Like it didn't matter what it was weird. It didn't matter what happened at school. You show up at practice with your brothers. I'm gonna go to Coach Kev, and I'm gonna ask this a little bit different. Coach, when was it for you? When you realized this was bigger than football. Your role was bigger than football. Like when did it click for you that your role was in importance to these kids was bigger than football?
Wow. Well, actually, man, when I first got started with the Knights, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yep. Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We hear you.
Sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, what I was saying is when I first got started with the Knights, Coach Ivan was on the. He was probably the one. Actually, he was the first president because he was. I was the coach, man, but he was more the administrator. He was the one that took care of all the paperwork and did all the negotiating because at one time, remember, they didn't even want us, the Northside Knights, in the league because we had some kind of problem with the league, and financially we was kind of strapped, and he did all the fights so we could get finances. And when I realized that they were trying to keep us out the league, then I understood it was more than football.
Right.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, actually, I think what happened is they bought equipment for all the teams in the league, and because we were late to decide that we were coming with them, they didn't want to give us anything.
Yeah.
So we was working from, we started from the bottom, and, now we're here.
Now we here.
We went from the bottom to the top,
that's the
y'all.
year
Most
we
of
had to
y'all guys
scrimmage
here at
everybody.
Northside Knights, we won championships with.
Coach, I got another question for you. Because I would say, what was the hardest part about having to coach these young men? Like, what are some of the hardest things that you had to deal with? And it might not have been just hard on you, but hard because you might have felt powerless or whatever the case. Difficult times.
And it was the difficult times was, man, when we had to go in some of these houses, some of you guys' homes. You guys know what your homes was like, and we was like, well, why didn't such and such come to practice? And they'd be like, well, he didn't have a ride. And you go over the house and there's 2, 3, 4 cars at the house, but nobody has found it, important to make sure that the kids was at practice or kind of had any kind of discipline. I guess the hardest part was making them understand the importance of the routine, man, the consistency.
Right. Yeah, you guys were showing up. Y'all should have got, y'all was original Uber.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, we used to take you guys on the trucks on the freeway, man. Now that's definitely allowed, but we have a truckload, 30 kids on one little truck, man, on the freeway.
Hey, that's
we
how
loved
we
it. Y'all loved it.
The little Chevy, the Chevy S10. We be in the back of them going down the freeway, just like on our way to Mill Creek Park.
Or y'all be in that tractor, man. It'd be 8, 9, 10 cats in a 3-seat tractor.
A 3-seat tractor, like hanging out, holding on to your shoulder pads and your equipment, like. I'm gonna go to Joe Love with this next question. Joe, who was for you? It don't matter what team you played for. He could have been a teammate of yours. If you can name a player who was, I don't want to say you feel is the best. I want to say most, because that's a different question. Inspiring, like who was your leader, or who was like one of the, better yet, how about this? Who was one of the best leaders you played for? Not, don't have to be the best player, one of the best leaders you played for. Play with. I should say play with.
Play with. Probably Keywan Rattler.
Nice.
He's always playing to work. He always spoke to us when we were like bullshitting at practice.
Yeah.
Did anything like miss the block, anything like that. And he basically treated everybody the same too. And he never was like cocky. Even though he's like one of the best running backs in the league, he never like pushed that on people. He's always the same, mellow, and he's like really generous too. So he gave props to his linemen when he scored a touchdown.
Nice.
And stuff like that. So he's probably like the best leader.
Wow.
He only played like the whole 6 years with me. I think he only played 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, shout out to Keywan Ratliff, even though he scored a game-winning touchdown on me to go to the championship. Hey, Mook hated me so much after that game.
Yeah. So which game was that? The Pee Wee game or the 105?
That was 105. 115.
Yeah, that was the playoff game.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
playoff
game
game. The bad part about it. Wait, I'm gonna tell this story real quick. The bad part about it is really we stomped the Broncos, but freaking Jamie Melton kept scoring, and they kept calling him back because he was spiking the ball.
I do remember that now. Oh wow!
Hey, y'all, referee Fordham, Jerry Fordham kept calling that. I hated Jerry Fordham for years for that, man.
Hey, what's good?
They stole our championship, man.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was one of Jamie's first games back, right?
Yeah, his first game back because their dad. It was weird. They always got in trouble, but their dad
They was first times playing ever.
Yeah, I remember that game.
Yeah,
that dude kept scoring.
Hey, that dude kept. So it got so bad, right? He break a big run, and he get pushed out of bounds. Hey, the coaches have to go grab him to stop him from.
Yeah, he lacked experience, man. He lacked experience, but raw,
just raw, super athlete. He's built like a grown man back then.
Yeah,
and
his brother.
Hey, him and his brother. Hey, he built like Luke built today. He was built like that back then.
Exactly. Back then.
Yeah.
Right. Back then. Right. Exactly. You're so right.
I'm gonna go to you. I'm gonna go to you next, George. Who was one of the biggest leaders you played with that you can remember, like that just stands out?
Man, I never really looked at leader because it was like the pressure was on you from the squad. So it was like my first year playing for the Elks. Man, I had cats I looked up to that y'all probably remember that would have been scenes with y'all, like Red ended up playing for the Knights his last couple of years when he hit that huge growth spurt. But Red started off. I had Red. I had Travis, my cousin Travis Easterly. You had Raheem. You had Lil Walt. You know, you had a squad of cats, man. Even I don't know if cats remember little Anthony Johnson, man. These cats, it was more so to me. I ain't gonna lie. To me, I feel like the leadership became cats putting that fear in you or bringing that dog out of you. And I say that in the aspect of bully in the ring made us all grow up. I don't know if anybody can sit there and relate, but bully in the ring made everybody grow up on the football field. So when that bully in the ring came about, the bully in the ring, it separated you. You wanted to play ball and you wanted to look up. You looked up to the cat that was a hitter in the ring. That cat, when that number get called, you got to be quick on your feet. You feared that person. That's the person you looked up to because every time in bully ring, that person brought it to you. And I mean, like I say, them cats, man, if everybody, I can't really sit there and say it's certain cats like that I just looked up to that made me know that I want to be like these cats. Because when you get called, they number get called, you got to hit one of them. Lord, you like, man, I got to man up. I got to put my cleats on and buckle down and hit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's all about having a heart, man. And I'm gonna tell you, like I said, most of them cats, man, I just looked at like, dang, man, these cats is raw. And I was a little peewee, about 5 or 6, getting knocked on my butt, but getting back up. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? I had these cats looking at in '91, the Elks in the championship playing, and like I said, you just look at how raw these cats was. You wanted to dress like them. You wanted to beat them. Like, you know what I'm saying? You mimic their moves while you was playing rough and tumble on the sidelines. So I think the starters and the bully in the ring was my leadership, man, on that part there, man.
All right. Hey, Tim, I'm gonna ask you, bro, from your years playing, like, who was it for you that stood out as one of the biggest leaders you ever played with?
I would say my dude Chris Helms and Brandon Brown.
Brandon Brown, yeah, that's a good one. Brandon Brown was a dope, amazing dude.
You know, God rest that dude, Chris Helms. That dude he was an athlete, bro.
Wow. Mook, you remember any years who like kind of stands out to you?
Yeah, Anthony Floyd.
I was going there. My answer is your answer. So I'm gonna let you answer.
He the only dude. He was always faster than me. He was the only dude that was faster than me. Dude, he was smarter than me. You know what I'm saying? And I looked at myself pretty high, but he was always above me. He was always steps ahead of me. And with him, he wasn't that vocal type of leader.
Right.
He always led by example through his play.
Yeah.
And he was always serious, never played around.
Yeah.
He was all about business. Right. So what he accomplished in college and going on to the NFL, it wasn't no surprise. You pretty much seen it.
We knew it was coming. We knew it was coming.
Right.
Exactly.
You always knew he was one of the best. Like, even though, like, what he did in college, the records he set, it wasn't a surprise.
He's still tied for the record for interceptions in the season, I believe.
Yeah.
In college, yeah.
And
somebody tied his record, but he's tied for it, yeah.
Yeah, like Joe mentioned Kewan Rattler. It was them two. They were the two top dogs.
Yeah.
So everything they accomplished, you pretty much seen it since Pee-wee. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. I would say it was Anthony Floyd and believe it or not.
I got a question for you guys. How about Justice Harrison? Did y'all remember playing with Justice?
Yeah, he was younger though.
Yeah, Justice
How
played.
about Justice? Do y'all remember playing with Justice Harrison?
I remember playing with him. He played with the
he
Elks.
was younger? Okay, I was trying to figure out where
he played with the Elks. He started off with the Elks.
He started off with the Knights.
Well, you talking about Justice? Him and his
Justice
brother.
He played with us though for the Knights. Yeah.
He played with y'all too, but he had his two older brothers
Chris
too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adam and CJ.
Yep.
Shout out to Justice. I would say it was Anthony Floyd, and y'all don't remember him but y'all gonna remember him Mook gonna remember him, but Sam Pete.
Oh, Mr. Hustle.
Yeah, Sam Pete.
Yeah, Pete. Absolutely.
Yeah, Sam Pete was like this. He was super, super smart, and his personality. He was like the cool guy that wasn't the biggest, wasn't the strongest, wasn't the fastest. He just would work hard, and he was smart, and everybody loved him.
Effort.
He was crafty. He was scrappy and crafty. I would say Sam Pete was one of those dudes that just always like he was your friend. It didn't matter if you was from Briar Hill, if you lived down there by Elm, if you lived whatever case. It was like Sam was like the untouchable dude. Nobody bullied him, nobody messed with him. Everybody liked him. And so, but Anthony Floyd and Sam Pete stood out to me as far as guys I played with.
Sam Pete, his work ethic is so good. Coach Kev had a special trophy for him, Mr. Hustle.
Mr. Hustle.
You guys always know, like the harder you work hard, that's your success, man.
Yeah. And I'll say this before I go to the next question. I always felt like if you wanted it on the nights, like I knew Mook was sweet. I remember when we had like the other guys play with us, but I knew like you had to go through Anthony Floyd. So I don't know if Mook remember this, but every time we did Nutcracker, I always wanted Anthony Floyd. Like I always wanted Anthony Floyd. Hey, if he ran me over 6 times, it wasn't gonna be his 7th time. I was gonna get him down that time. Like I ain't care. And because I felt like it started off as jealousy, but then it became like admiring because it wasn't like he didn't work for it. Like Mook said, like he put in the work, like he was a serious dude. Like you started to just have to respect the guy because one of his talent that he earned, and 2, he came through for us when we needed him during games.
Yep.
He came through for us when we needed him through games. Like I always liked Antoine, but it was like it's always props to Antoine because Antoine was a silly, cool one, but Anthony was a serious, like I hate to say it, but like asshole in a good way. He was an asshole leader in a good way.
Yeah.
But Anthony knew how to pull you to the side to motivate you too, like he was a coach.
He was so good. Like our first year playing, we were like 7 years old. I don't know if you remember this, Coach Kev. Remember our last year in a Mid-American? No, this wasn't the last year. It was like a couple of years before we left the Mid-American when we went 12-0, won the championship. With Don Barnett and all those guys. This dude, all of us were sitting the bench because when your first year, you never really get in. This dude was getting in his first year, man. 7 years old.
It's the truth.
Getting a ball too.
Hey, I started as a Pee-wee. My first year out. But
Man,
Coach Phillips,
playing water boy and center don't count, cuz.
oh, you crazy. I would have never
Hey,
known Water Boy. You crazy.
well, what he said was it was a
I was one of
championship
the,
team. This team went 12-0 and this cat was playing. Shoot.
Yeah.
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 And that's like you say, that's hard work and ethic, man, because the guys like we played with, like I said, my preview year, man, Red was like I said, man, to me, looking at how old we are now, man, and looking at how football has evolved now, the way Youngstown coaches coached us when we were younger, man, we were prepped for high school and junior high ball already. Y'all was playing these guys. I watched Red. I seen all these cats, man. Y'all was calling the plays on the sidelines. It wasn't nobody standing on the field putting you in this position, that position, that position. No, we
No, we
played
knew.
like we was actually in the league.
We knew what
Right.
we
That's
supposed to be.
yeah,
Exactly.
Volney
Yeah,
Rogers
that
was
is
Volney
true.
Rogers. That's real stuff, man. Now you get here, I look at football, man. I be like, man, these kids is getting hindered, man, because you got this coach babying this kid, pulling this cat in that position. You can't hit this way. Man, we play straight up football, man. That's one thing I
Fundamentals,
can
Hey,
say.
head
man.
to head,
They
helmet
preach
to helmet.
fundamentals. Yeah, they
Yes,
preach fundamentals. Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So as a young cat looking at them records and seeing what pressure them coaches was putting on them cats at the QB position, at the running back position. Like you said, if you got in and your squad was 12-0 and Volney Rogers, bro, you had to be a hellified dude. You had to be the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it wasn't too many people doing that. Like I said, the only time we might get in is if one of them cats needed a break. You know what I'm saying? And you coming right back out. But the competitive nature wouldn't allow these cats to get off the field, man. That's what I love about being home. That's what I love about Youngstown football, man. When we played as athletes, man, hey, y'all coaches ain't having to ask us to go both ways. We wanted to go both ways. Cats didn't like coming off the field. You took me off the field, coach. I'm ready. I'm mad at you. Like, why you taking me off the field?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I need all my minutes.
All right. So, I think that I think I went. Did I go Joe Love first on the question? I think I
You
went
went with me
first.
because I was the youngest.
I went. You was the youngest. All right. So
Tim the youngest now.
yeah, I'm gonna go with Coach Kev because I'm gonna ask it to him a little bit different about as far as thing. Who are some of the players that if you could, and I know you've had to do this every year, so it's not putting you on the spot, but who are those guys that stand out to you for whatever the various reasons are? Like, and there's no shot to any other guys because I mean, in whatever case, but for various reasons they stand out to you. Whether it's they was a hard hitter or they might have not been the greatest athlete, but they worked hard. But for different reasons, who are some of the guys that you like? Yo, I remember so and so because this kid, he was this, or he did. I loved his fight, or whatever the reasons were.
Well, man, I kind of actually told you about this story about and one of my man. He actually on this podcast, so he know what I'm gonna say. But he and to this day, probably one of my favorite players and favorite guys. Period, man. Really like a son to me. But we was playing the Warren Browns up in Warren, and this guy, man, I led this dude to death, man. But I don't know if we was getting beat up bad or what happened. But this particular guy, I ain't gonna throw nobody under the bus, so y'all figure it out. He took every stitch of equipment off during the middle of the game, every piece off, and turned it in, man. He said he was quitting, man.
While
He was done.
While we out of Warren, he quit while we in Warren.
I mean, on the field, man. This is like he got totally undressed on the field. I've never seen that like
That
it.
was
It was
crazy.
the Warren Browns. We ain't
Warren
never lose
Browns,
to the
exactly
Browns.
right.
Well,
Hey, but the killing part about this is this same guy, man. He had an opportunity. He was asked to say a few words at a banquet, and the guy spoke a few words at the banquet. And before we know it, he wrote his own speech, and he had everybody in the banquet in tears, man. He had everybody crying. We didn't know exactly. We just gave him a part and what he was going to say and do. And it was one of the best presentations I heard still to this day at any young man at a banquet. Mook, you rock. You know that, right, man? You won everybody's heart that night, man.
Wait. So are you talking about we both supposed to identify the guy?
But he know everybody know this cat, man. We let this dude. He know who he is. And he started laughing. He gave it up. He started laughing as soon as I opened my mouth.
Hey, when I did, you were disappointed in me when I did that game, man.
Oh man, broke my heart, man.
Yeah,
but you regrouped and became one of the best ever from the Northside Knights. That's how we talking about.
All right, so this question is a dope question.
All right, y'all. Hey, I gotta go punch this clock for this overtime. My bad, I came in late.
Go ahead, be safe.
I
Love you too.
I gotta get to this bag.
I'm gonna ask this question, and I'm gonna go first. When I ask this question, the hardest player you guys can remember, and I'm gonna ask you, Coach, in a different way, but the hardest player, or just the guy that was like big competition, like you just hated going against this guy. He was that good. He made you work that hard. I'm gonna be honest. Playing 115s, it was Joe Love. I was like playing. Me and Sam was like guard and tackle. Joe was on our side. We couldn't stop this dude for nothing. He just kept coming in, and the coach is like, I think the tight end's name might have been Larry or Shakir. It's one or two. I got to put a tight end on that side. Like Joe Love just kept destroying us. I hated playing against Joe Love. Like one of the worst dudes to have to play against ever. He was just too fast. But I'm gonna go to you. I'm gonna go to you next, Mook. Who was like one of the guys that you felt like, like he was just that damn good. Like he made me up my level, or he was just hard to play against.
Kevon Rattler. And you know what about that dude? He wasn't the fastest on the field.
Right.
He was the smartest. So that lets you know, like, it's not all about who's the fastest, who's the biggest. He was always steps ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Because he wasn't a faster player than Anthony Floyd. He wasn't more explosive than Anthony Floyd. But him as a leader, his team kept beating Anthony Floyd's team until we finally got him.
Finally.
That one championship game, we finally got him, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say the youngest besides the coach.
That was the game at Top High, the championship.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Poindexter was the quarterback, right?
Kev,
no, I was the quarterback.
You was the quarterback. Man.
Joe Love, who was it for you, brother? Who was like a very tough guy you had to go against that you
probably like Anthony Floyd, so it was like so natural. It's like he ain't don't have to even not work that hard. It's like a natural athlete.
Yeah.
So he's always been competition little up to high school too.
Up to high school too, yeah.
Yeah. Probably Anthony Floyd. I'd say probably the hardest hitter. It's probably one of my teammates, Roosevelt Lewis.
Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, I ain't like practicing against him.
I ain't like him because he gave me a few stingers.
Really?
Georgie, who was it for you, brother? Who was that guy that just thorn in your side?
I'm gonna tell you, man. I had. The funny thing is, y'all know it. I'm gonna start it off with our old teammate from high school, man. Naturally talented and just had it, man. Ty Lindsay, bro.
Oh, Ty Lindsay was a natural athlete.
Tyrone Lindsay, man. When we played them that year, when everybody stayed with the Elks and I went to the Panthers, man. And Coach Dowdy formed a super team. He got Marcus Cowwise. He had Moosey. He had Ty Lindsay. I mean, he had everybody that, like, you look at. And I'm gonna tell you, Marcus Cowwise brought the best out of me every time we played because I knew for the Broncos, everybody was like, hey, Marcus, 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 Marcus. And all I ever wanted to do was rock his bell. Every time we played, I'm like, the moment I get a chance to lay hands on him, I'm laying the wood to him. And there's been a couple times, and like I said, man, that was the highlight. I always looked at it like you had certain players on every team, no matter who you played, that you knew was the face of that team. But when we played the Broncos, man, it was always Marcus Cowwise. I wanted Marcus, man. I wanted to punish him because he was gonna bring it out you. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Ty Lindsey, man. Ty Lindsey was my teammate the whole way until I moved to the east side, and it was like, damn, man. Now I see how talented he is because we're on the opposite team. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, that was dope, man.
Coach Kev.
Yes, sir, man.
Who made you have to work as a coach, planning and having to scheme and figure out how to stop them? Who's you coached for a long enough time that I hope you can give me quite a couple different players.
Ooh, hey, look, coach. You hit a super question. I wanna know. That's a super question right there.
Yeah. You know, it's funny that you asked that, but players from the other team I never really was concerned about. I was always concerned about my guys. As my guys did what they were supposed to do. I didn't really put a whole lot of emphasis, and I still don't do that, is I don't want to give another cat juice. I always try to give my cats the juice. So you would always say, you know, they would always say, this guy is this and that guy. Oh, no, them guys ain't no better than none of our guys. So I would never would I don't know, would try to pump up another dude, man, that wasn't on my team. My guys are always my best. My guys are always the best guys to me.
Okay. So let me ask it in a different way.
Okay.
Who is, if you could think of a player or two or three
that I don't like on another team?
No. That you coached that you was like, man, once I get this guy motivated, he's unstoppable. I just got to get him going. Who was the guy that always needed a battery in the back, but he was super talented?
I thought Albert Sly was probably as good as any player ever played for the Knights, man.
Albert was naturally talented, but it was motivation.
He didn't have no fear, man. He had no fear. He'd run into a brick wall, man. You know, Anthony, he wasn't intimidated by nobody. He wasn't. I think the only problem wrong what happened with Albert was he was on the team with Mook and Anthony.
So this next question is, as we reach our halfway point, but this next question is a real question. And I'm gonna start off with you, Coach. Even though we just left with the last question for you, but I'm gonna start off with you because I think Coach Kev set the tempo right. You've coached a lot of players in your life, and you watched them go from like little preteens, boys, to young men. But who or what players was it that the streets took away that you were like, man, he was just freak? I mean, I know he was talented athletes, but you were like, he was a good kid, like that, just a great kid. You seen the potential in him, like regardless of what he did on the football field, it was like he just stuck out to you.
I thought Ezel Armour, man, he was probably one of the guys, man, that whose future was probably bright. Was really bright, man. He was academically, he was always pretty smart, man, and he had good size. And I thought he never got a chance, man, to reach his full potential for sure, man.
Yeah, Ezel was he was smooth.
Yeah, he was in all sports too, man. He could play basketball.
Yeah, Ezel was smooth. Is Joe Love still there? I know he got his thing on, but I know he got it muted. I don't know if he's there. I'm gonna go to you, Georgie. Who for you is a player you played with or you know of that, man, the streets just got him. Like, but you knew he was super talented, and he just, whether it's I don't want to say lack of discipline because I never want to disrespect nobody's kids, but other circumstances just created a different path.
Man, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I'm not gonna take this because it's a hard question because we all played and we all from the city. But just to be honest, there's not too many athletes that's from the city that the streets haven't got or the circumstances haven't got, man. I honestly think like half the athletes that y'all talking about right now, like Mook, listening to him, Anthony, y'all got me. I played with you your senior year, Jamar. You know what I'm saying? I was a freshman. So the cats y'all played with when I was playing, bruh, when we got to high school, the only thing that hindered y'all was grades. Bro, I don't think there's no athlete that haven't played in Volney Rogers that if they would have applied themselves the older we got, that couldn't been in the league. We would have had a lot more in the league than what we got now. Oh, that's just being truthful. It's not really the streets on that, man. It's the fact that it's like, damn, man, the academics. Rand had the coldest, like Joe. I played with you and Joe Love. Joe Love, the hottest DN, and was running a 10-7-5 split in a 100-meter dash. I mean, in a 4x1 relay as a tight end. Bruh, come on, stuff ain't adding up when you sit there looking at the physical strength of this dude and looking at why ain't he D1? You know what I'm saying? Why ain't he at Ohio State or something like that, man? It's like it's other circumstances that kind of hindered a lot of the athletes in the city, man. I hate to say that because I can't just single out one athlete, man. I honestly, like I said, man, the ones that made it, they just applied themselves and took advantage of the right circumstances. Like I said, the way y'all describe Mook, man, I remember some of y'all, I know y'all probably remember Tooney.
Tooney was a dope dude.
Tooney was dope, bro. Tooney was that dude for the Elks. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Little, like I said, Walt. Little Walt. Travis Eastley.
One of the coldest athletes I've ever played with.
Bruh, Raheem. Raheem was naturally talented.
Yeah.
It's a lot of
Chris Williams.
Yeah.
Chris Helms.
Yeah, Chris Helms. That's another one. Like I said, we played against all these guys, man. It's like you got, it's guys, like I said, I can say for when I played on the east side, man, it's guys like my boy Scooter. You had guys like Duper. You had guys like Glenn Land, Tony Tinsley. These guys were like super athletes, but they just didn't, like, you know what I'm saying? We didn't apply ourselves to the point where it was like inside the school once we got older, man. Because I'll tell you, one of the best athletes I ever seen to this day. And I respect him. And it was our teammate, Squire Cross, bro. Squire Cross was naturally the dopest athlete I ever seen, and Squire didn't have no freaking effort in what he really did, bro. He did it effortlessly, bro. Squire Cross could jump like it wasn't nothing, but you get him on the track, he wasn't running no 10-9. But his athleticism, man, was one of those things. Yeah. And that's like Mook. I don't know Mook's history completely, because like I said, y'all got me by a couple years. But it's like half the athletes, you name it. Come on, bro. If when we all got to high school, we deterred most of us. The programs wasn't as solid as they should have been to make us get to that point, man. Because half of y'all guys, I know, to me personally speaking, playing with Joe Love, I thought Joe Love was going to the NFL.
I did too. I believe in Joe Love.
Hey, and I'm only saying that because he led the city with 16 sacks as a DN. And like you said, it was just what we applied ourselves with, the choices we made when we got older, man. That's all it was. I mean, I ain't gonna say it's all the streets, because Youngstown got so many athletes that's walking around naturally talented, man. And it's just like, it's the program ain't set up for us to win, or we're not applying ourselves to beat the program, to beat the odds. That's just really what it is. You got coaches like Coach Kev, not being disrespectful, Coach. I'm gonna tell you one thing that I'm gonna hit on. I'm gonna leave it alone. Coaches like him that started off a little league, y'all should have took that jump to high school, because guess what? We respected y'all so much, and we had this same coaches, bro. If we had that same coaching staff when we was that was there when we were younger, that put that fear in us, and those coaches on a high school level, come on, bro. How many cats would have been in the weight room every day?
Yeah.
How many cats would have been sitting there if he said, "Hey, weight training at this time, you'll be in the weight room because Coach Kev said go to the weight room."
Right. There was some good coaches in high school, but Georgie hit on a very good a valid point. There were some good coaches. I won't disrespect any of the
No,
coaches.
I'm not gonna disrespect all of them.
But the caring was different. Leaving the Knights, I didn't get to play junior high, Coach Kev, but going from the Knights to high school, it was, and I get it. I mean, there's different things, but the coaching was a bit
different.
It's different.
Well, you guys got to understand about systematic racism, man. Even throughout the whole, it's throughout the system that would not even even if you was black, you weren't gonna be a quarterback no matter what, no matter who you played for.
Yeah.
They automatically look for a white guy to be quarterback. I mean, it just had the system was set up for just certain people to be certain things, and no matter how good an athlete you was, it really didn't matter.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, and we seen the guys that did it. So I'll never put it on a coach. I definitely won't put it on the coaches. I felt they did the best that they did, and to be honest, it's selfish of me to wish I could have took Coach Kev to ran with me, because there's younger kids that needed him like I needed him, that he stepped in for, that he coached, that he got right, that if they could be on this podcast right now, he would think. Again, going back to Coach Ivan, both of them, the way they organize, the way our coaching staff work together as a unit, as a family. When you play Little League, not just the Knights, because I'll be ignorant to say that, but when you play Little League, you felt like you were part of a family.
Yeah.
You felt like you were part of a unit. And listen, when you at practice, that's your brother, that's your teammate. Y'all have each other's back. Like, I don't care what all the other school inner politics is and the whole pecking order or whatever.
It never mattered.
It didn't matter. It didn't matter. So that's what I would sit there and say. I was gonna say, Mook just came back. Mook, wait, did I put him in? There you go. Mook got the experience, and I wish I should have listened instead of being girl crazy, because Mook got the experience. Him and Taheem, well, Lamar Adams got the experience. The difference in it when they went to Kennedy Christian. The Turco cared.
I went to Kennedy Catholic under Turco.
Yeah,
I transferred.
Turco cared. But Turco was the last of a dying breed, because Turco coached a lot of our fathers and cousins and family members that ran. And then they ran him out of Rand, and then he went to Kennedy Christian. But don't get me wrong, sure, he got something out of it, because he got to get that school over there in Pennsylvania to be better.
Kennedy Catholic, yeah.
When Mook and Taheem went over there, them motherfuckers was like scoring like all.
Hey, you want to know a story about Turco?
Go ahead.
Because Turco a real one. So we was up at Kennedy, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's real races up there,
right?
And there was a lot of hating amongst the players or whatever. But so with all that hate, I used to always lash out. And I never respected the coaches that Turco had under him, and his assistant coaches hated me. So me and Taheem had to wait when all the players left. Me and him had to wait after, because Turco took us back to Youngstown. He took us home.
Right.
So we hear yelling in his office, and I put my ear to the door, and I hear his assistant coaches saying, "Hey, Turco, we got to get rid of this kid. This kid is out of control. Why do you continue to have this kid still play for us?" And you know what Turco said? And he said this behind closed doors. He said, "Because I love him."
Yep. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's all you
That's
need,
why
man.
I can never say nothing bad about Turco. Turco is a real one.
Never. He was a real one. I respected him.
And that's the thing about Turk, man. I experienced it my junior year. But see, I'm not gonna say Rand didn't have no good coaches either. What I'm sitting there saying is with the problem that's lacking right now when we get to them high school levels, like y'all had y'all influence with Coach Kev, y'all Knights coaching staff. You know what I'm saying? It's a shame that our little league coaches ain't getting a fair shake because of the fact that they should be able to step in and get a high school position or junior high school position and coach on the coaching staff and give them a shot. I only say that because they done worked with us since we was kids. We look at them like fathers. Coach Turk, like you said, he assumed the father position as a junior, senior. When I went over to Kennedy and he took care of me, I respected him the same way you said. Conversations come out, Coach Turk defending us that was coming from Youngstown. But my main thing is when I sit there and say the respect we got from certain coaches, like Coach Kev. I came home, man. Coach Leroy, that's over there at East High, the little Golden Bears, the middle school. Him and a couple of other coaches. Hey, it was good to see them on the little league. I mean, on the middle school. The middle school football program changed around. But the reason why you got good coaches, even like Coach Kev, that coach at Liberty. These guys was good coaches as little league coaches. We respected them. They got on the platform and made the best of it. But then, like you say, politics play a lot of part in why some of these guys still ain't coaching. And it shouldn't be that way because that's where the discipline comes that we need. That discipline needs to be instilled the whole way through high school, man. Like you said,
they knew how to deal with us because they understood where we came from.
Yeah.
They understood our struggle and the pain or what we was dealing with at home, but they understood when to give that firm hand. And when they understood, like when Mook might have been going through something or I could have been going through something at home, they also knew when not to apply the pressure. They also knew like when to listen to us, and they understood us. So some of these coaches
can't relate.
So
you can't have a coach that you feel like you can walk over. You can't. No. You can't. I tell you, Joe Love can contest to this. Coach Jenkins was one of the most feared coaches because he talked so loud and got on your nerves, but you respected him because he didn't back down. He was firm. If he told you, hey, you're gonna be in the weight room or you ain't running, he made an example out of you. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't hit that weight room like he told you, you wasn't running that track meet. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have that, bro.
Jinx didn't play. Yeah, Jinx didn't play. He wasn't my favorite coach, but I respected him. I respected him. Yes.
Right.
Listen, I grew up in a household that, and Coach Kev knows my mother, and he knows who. The same woman that basically raised his wife is who basically raised my mother in her teenage years. And respect was a must, and disrespect was not tolerant. Was not going to be. Tim was here. Tim would tell you the same thing. We all grew up under that tree. Like, yo, if Uncle Jesus, if Uncle Wallace was here, he'd say the same thing. But we grew up like disrespect will not be tolerated. It carried over to us when we got home, or these coaches made you respect it.
Yes, sir.
When I'm gonna go to this next part, because this is what this is about, is those deeper conversations and more than just football. But what I will go to is another reason that besides Coach Kev, who we're blessed to have here to honor Coach Ivan. And there's been and this platform is not just about quote unquote Northside Knights, because it's an open opportunity for us to go ahead and find other coaches who deserve that platform, who deserve that respect, who deserve that love and appreciation. Coach Ivan Thompson like Coach Kev said, he was the organizer. He was the one who sat there and handled the business and made it easier for Coach Kev to play his role. It's like Coach Kev said, Ivan was there already. He was like, yo, da 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 da. He took care of business, but he also cared. He also, everything we just got through talking about coaches caring, about coaches wanting to give more, about coaches supporting, being father figures, and we're just blessed enough that Coach Kev is still here. But Coach Ivan was that man who was like, man, he just had it was, I hate to use the word swagger, but he had a vibe and an energy, a positive energy, a leadership quality, listen, I'm gonna show you the way to do it right. I'm not gonna give you it to you. I'm gonna show you how you can get and earn it. And that's what Coach Ivan meant to us, like to me, to Mook, and I'm shouting him out because I felt like the first episode, Down in the Valley, is more than just about a football game. It's about the impact in our community, because it was fellowship, it was brotherhood down in that valley where the green grass grow. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of who we met, we played a little ball, we had a little talk, and we sent the right back. Whatever.
Yeah. And I sent it right back.
Yeah, sent it right back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was brotherhood. Those men demanded respect of us. You wasn't playing. Don't get me wrong. Coach Ivan or Coach Kev won't give up on you if you was a disrespectful team. You might have required more disrespectful kid. You might have required more work. But they didn't give up on us. Right. We quit. You know how many other dudes quit, like Mook quit, which Mook quitting was a rare thing. I quit many games.
Right.
Many games. And I'm back at practice Monday. Like, yo, get back to practice. These guys didn't give up on us. So I picked Coach Ivan as the first because that's who I know, but I wanted to create this platform so he's not the last. He's the first. Coach Ivan Thompson, who was a father, a husband, a brother, and we'd have plenty of his family members on here showing their support and stuff. He meant so much more to people than just football, and he meant more to all of us more than football. He meant more to Coach Kev more than football, even though they're both Cowboy fans, whatever that is. But Joe Love has got his coaches. Joe Love has got his coaches from the Broncos, and he's named some reputable guys who have done just the same on the East Side. And this platform creates the opportunity for us to have those conversations with those guys that are still here and those who are not. You're not forgotten. We're thankful. I'm gonna use the word, regardless of anybody's spirituality, blessing. Coach Kev, you were a blessing. Coach Ivan was a blessing to us. The coaches you shouted out, George, were blessings to us. Man, these strong Black men came and took us and was there for us as one of our own. No matter win, lose, or draw, we come off the field crying, because we all came out the field crying in Little League, hurt. Man, we lost. We walking off the field crying. We going to the sideline, and these coaches, not only these coaches, let me be the most respectful way, because my beautiful aunt is in the building in the background, or she might have went to bed by now, but their families played a part. Bro, sure. Kevin and Isaiah had to share us with their father. They had to share their father.
Hey, look. That's typically like, hey, honestly speaking, that's most of Youngstown, bro. That's most of Youngstown. Bro, you step on the football field, somebody, hey, I remember Ellis Moody dad, and little Ellis dad used to be at the football field all the time too. CJ shared his dad. I mean, bro, none of us had fathers like that was actually active. The only time, it's so funny, man, half the time most of us only seen our fathers when we was good enough to start playing in Volney Rogers League.
Then they want to
And
show
guess
up.
what?
Then they want to
They
show
want to
up.
brag.
Yeah, that's my son right there. Then
Yeah.
some of them wanted to
But
show
but
up.
the,
and
but the
brag
whole
and stuff.
time your coach is the one that's sitting there giving you the discipline, showing you the ropes, making you tough. Daddy, you don't see your daddy until you're on the football field.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
And you know
You
what?
might see him.
That same coach is sending you over there like, yo, that's your daddy over there. Go speak to that
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, telling you what's right. Even though you hurt or whatever the case, and you mad at this man, that same coach is sitting there like, yo, go respect your father.
But you know what's so crazy, bro? One thing I can say about that league, man. Anybody that took on the organization, Mr. Lacey, Mr. Redman, Walt Lacey's granddaddy. He started the Elks organization, bro. I remember there's not one coach that's coaching right now that has not, I mean, in the back in the day during our era, that has not sacrificed picking up kids and taking them to practice and then dropping them back off. And then sometimes covering them down, buying toothbrushes, toothpastes, you know what I'm saying? Making sure you got cleats, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All this
Going in
stuff
their
was stuff
pockets,
that,
picking up their hot dogs, or
yeah.
going, they ain't got the money for equipment. Yo, okay, look, this what you do. I'm gonna let your mom pay it off in increments or whatever the case.
And the booster team, the booster team, bro. The booster teams, the booster teams for the little league, man. Little Earl Charity grandmother used to always be out there. My grandmother, you know, it's the same thing when it don't matter what side of town, man. I think, like you said, you got Coach Kev for y'all speaking for y'all that y'all can show, you know, Coach Ivan. You know, we notice these coaches when we walking past because, like Coach Kev said, guess what? We felt like we had the best coaches, just like y'all felt like y'all had the best coaches. Just like he felt like he had the best players, we felt like we had the best players. It was always competition and competitive, but guess what, man? These coaches showed you, man, that they love you so much, man. I can say it didn't matter what squad, Pee Wee, 115, 130s, or 120s at that time, man. Every coaching staff I had, man, for the Elks, every coaching staff I had for the Panthers, man, every coach on each staff, man, they was brothers, but they all showed us so much love, man, that, like you said, it wasn't you couldn't quit on them. We couldn't quit. Like you said, if you wanted to quit, you was back on the field. They were snatching you up.
Yep. So if we get ready to close this out, I want to thank all of y'all. Joe Love, can you come out the dark real quick? My bad. No, my bad. I just wanted, before we close it out, I wanted to make sure I do this correct way. It's guys like Ivan Thompson that was able to reach some of us and help save some of us, to help instill the right values in us, or push the values that were already instilled in us by our parents, and furthermore encourage and make us stand on those principles and those things that help us become the better men that we are. And that's what that league consisted of. And there's plenty of little leagues right now that have men that are still doing that. Well, not plenty. There's not plenty of leagues in Youngstown, but there are plenty of young men that are, but we could use more. I want to give Coach Ivan his flowers, not just because of my personal attachment, because there's many other kids who look at him in a way brighter light than I ever could, because he may have meant that much. I know what he meant to me, but his impact was that much more, because he just didn't coach my years. He coached before I ever came to the Knights. I was a late bloomer. He's coached so many young men. Him and Coach Kev, and like you said, the other coaches who do this, and that's why we want to build this platform and grow it. So this is not my platform. This is our platform. This is our opportunity to honor and respect thy father figures, thy friends, thy brothers we played with, thy brothers we played against. This is our opportunity to give them the respect and the light they deserve. Leave all the other stuff to the side. a real man, regardless of how I feel about you, if you was talented, you was talented. I don't care
Yes.
what the street beefs had. I hate that you're locked up or whatever the case may be, but I'm gonna still give you your props in the context of which you deserve it to be. So I dedicate this episode, and I hope all you guys were okay with it, to Coach Ivan Thompson, a great man, a great father, a great brother, a great son, a great husband, and a great friend, and a great leader. I would be remiss and it'd be ignorant of me to not count that this was a black man who who was doing it, but he was so much bigger to our culture than just the fact that he was black. He was just the fact that he was a man of his word, just because of the fact that he was a man of about trying to stand up for what's right for his community. And this is what it's about. Down in the Valley is about community. Down in the Valley is about the fact of respecting it. So I hope the next time I have Joe Love on, we're honoring the coach. We got a whole bunch of Broncos on, even though I hate them. We got a whole bunch of Broncos. And I say hate, and I know hate is the wrong word to use, but I hate the Broncos, even as an adult.
It was all love on the field. I just wish we all could have like played together in high school though.
Bro.
Yeah, right.
But like you said, man, you know, I don't know Coach Kev. I wasn't that. I don't know you, Coach Kev, too tough because I wasn't I didn't play for the Knights. But like, I look at y'all coaches now, man, and I'm like, man, that's what's missing in the city right now, man. You missing coaches like that we had back in our era that was sitting there. Cause see, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if the Knights is still existing on that part. I'm just seeing the other teams now that got to go into other leagues. And to me personally, Volney Rogers need to come back. The league of Volney Rogers himself need to come back. It might be a long shot, but at the end of the day, hey, that's what brought us all together. Jamar, I ain't talked to you since you graduated, bro. Joe Love, I looked up to you. I seen you a couple times, but I ain't talked to you really except on Facebook. You feel what I'm saying? But the respect is always there because I played with y'all. Y'all work ethic was there. Like you said, y'all dope athletes. You know what I'm saying? You look at the bigger attitude of what can we do to get this back, man? What can we do to get this back in the city? You got my little brother with the East Little Bears that's doing great. But like, let's get it on all sides of town again. Let's get it on the north side. Let's get it back on the east side. Let's get it on the south side. Let's get it on the west side. The competitive inner city spirit. Because if you look at it, they got two high schools that's standing. Before we used to love playing Rand, Wilson, Cheney. You know what I'm saying? That was our look forward to. We ain't got it no more. You ain't got it no more, bro. And you got coaches like this guy right here that y'all look up to. And at the end of the day, they ain't really on the field that give that same talent to reach out to somebody, bro. I mean, I'm not saying come out of retirement, coach, because that's your choice if you retire or not.
Retirement. We got to treat him like Dion. We got
but bro, you need to. But you need
high school.
But Jamar, though, seriously, bro, if you look at that, like, hey, how many? Hey, Prime is Prime because hey, he did what he did in the league. But half of our coaches, man, they had the same swag and everything else, but they reached us, man. They reached us, bro. You know what I'm saying? These same coaches right now, we letting them, we hold on to the memories. But guess what? I want my kids to have the same memories with the same type of coaching style, man. Yeah. Because guess what? That's what's gonna build the character that we got.
It's up to us, bro. It's everything you're saying is right. And Coach Kev deserves his time to rest. You know, he deserves his time to chill out.
Play golf.
Hey, don't play golf,
bro.
We need you,
bro. This man was showing up to practice, leaving GM, working double shifts, showing up tired as heck, showing up still to practice, still collecting equipment and everything. So I'm thankful. I'm appreciative, like you said. We all are, because there were other coaches. Coach Kev ain't the only one, and I'd be remiss, I'd be ignorant, and this is what we want to do. We want to give them coach their flowers too. And
Yeah.
like him, and like we're giving it to Coach Ivan. What I will say is that it takes us. We got to stop pointing the finger. We got to stop being mad at them. Bro, we only can be as great as the energy and the effort we put in, the fight and the spirit we put up. Yes, the system will buck against us. Yes, they will fight against us, but we have more traction. We're blessed because we have more traction and outlets than Coach Kev had in his time. So we have more resources available to us than that was available during Coach Kev's time. But what I want to do before we end this is welcome back, Moot. I want to go ahead and let Coach Kev, because Coach Ivan was not just a fellow coach and not just a friend, and I don't even say best friend because that's selling it short, was a brother to you. And I love for you to give us the respectfully pay his props by give us a little history, who he was, and what the man that you know, and
Okay.
if you can.
All right, I can do that. I actually met Ivan, Coach Ive, at General Motors. We worked together. Wow, there's a lot of. I hear a lot of feedback. Is that my phone?
Somebody might have feedback on their thing. Everybody gonna mute and let you talk.
Okay. What I was saying is, I first met Ivan at General Motors, man. Probably 1979, man. 1979, 1980. We both liked the same football team, and we both was Cowboy fans. And we actually worked together. Our names kind of sounded like Ivan and Kevin, and people used to think we just became close friends, man. And then we started going to football games. We used to want to go see Georgetown in Houston when they had Five Slammer Jam. I don't know if you guys old enough to remember when they had Akeem and Lajuan and Clyde Drexler and Larry Mishaw. Well, they had one of the baddest teams. So we used to travel, man, and see different teams. And when the Knights was talking about folding, Mr. Willie Terry was head of the Knights at that time. I don't know if you guys remember Coach Willie Terry, but he was the first guy that we came under. So me and Ivan, Coach Ivan, we came under Coach Willie Terry. He ended up stepping down. The Knights had no league to be in because they didn't want to be. It's kind of funny, man, to explain what happened with the Northside Knights. And I'm gonna give you guys a short synopsis of what it really happened. And and I always talk about the systematic racism in athletics, man. And it was the systematic racism. What happened with the Northside Knights? Northside Knights was on the North Side, normally a pretty much almost all white team at one time. Then as blacks start moving up and migrated up on the North Side, then of course they had black kids. So once the black kids started getting on the North Side, they became the black kids are always more athletic and they were faster than the white kids. So all the white teams would get out of the league anytime they would have too many black kids, and we could just. And it's kind of funny now if you understand. We used to run all the time. We used to run a quarterback sweep, and that would mean we have 10 guys blocking and one guy running. So when you do that with the black teams, you would always be able to beat the white teams because your 10 guys, your 11th guy was always faster than their 11th guy. So you have 10 on 10 blocking, and you had a quarterback as a guy and they couldn't stop it. So what they would do is, as the teams would start getting black athletes, they would move on and go to another league. That's what Westside Coast, Westside Patriots. It was a lot of all the teams. And I guess I say that to say that the same thing goes on now. They wouldn't let you, if you couldn't have a black quarterback. And if you remember the league, some of you guys know, as soon as the guys was good quarterbacks in little league, but as soon as they became in high school, they was put at running back or put at defensive back. And they did that in the league as well and in college. That's why now we just starting to have a whole lot of black quarterbacks, because in college and high school, they would not train you. And if you wasn't trained in high school and college, then it would be kind of hard to be a quarterback in the NFL.
Right.
So now, as we try to train up young men, because you want your best athlete, man. Why
Yes,
would you
sir.
not want your best athlete at quarterback? Come on, man. You know, so it's about the systematic racism, man, and we got to continue to fight, man, within the coaching staffs as well as in the positions.
Right.
But
So
anyway, with
yeah,
Coach
go ahead.
I, man, we started coaching with the Knights, man, and we knew that we had to include families, man, because the importance of the blacks was their families, man. We needed family support, and without having no finances, we didn't at that time. We didn't have the drug dealers giving us money, like not not to say that's a
The Elks.
not just say that's a good well, not to say that's a good thing, man, because we really don't, all money ain't good money, man. We understand
Right.
that too, man. But financing, somebody had to finance the kid. So we started getting together with my sister, Dee Dee, Barney. I'd be remiss not to include Dee Dee, my sister Dee Dee, and Barney, and Coach Chum, and Coach Killer, and Coach Carter, and there was so
Yeah.
many others, man, that contributed to what we was trying to do. But so me and Ivan, we took over the Knights, man, and he ended up leaving in 1995. He moved to Shreveport, Louisiana. And whoa, man, that left me by myself. Well, not by myself, but me running the league because he was the administrator. So now I had to take on a part that I was never really comfortable with. And that was the administrative side as well as the coaching side. But Coach I, man, he was a guy that never graduated from high school, went on to get 3 master's degrees. Go figure that out.
Wow.
He he was told and he was told by one of his teachers in high school he would never be nothing, man. And and that kind of burnt it, and that kind of burnt to his soul, and it motivated him, man. And he made sure that he was something, man. But to me, man, he was one of the greatest guys. He inspired me to be great, man. And and in turn, help inspire you guys, man. So without him, man, I don't know where I would be, man, because he taught me so much, man. He taught me about food, how going out to dinner. We used to, go out to different places and eat dinner and take our families to dinner, man, and different travel, man. He said we traveled so much together. We done traveled all over the world, Hawaii and Alaska, Europe, and Mexico, and we took golf trips and everything, man. We was brothers, man, and I really appreciate that guy, man, more than you guys know.
Yo, I thank you, Coach Kev, and extremely thankful for being blessed enough to have Coach Ivan even be a part of my life, to even be a coach. Just like I'm sure these young men, all of us young men, are thankful for the coaches that we have all had. The impact that men like you, who not only competed against each other, but was able to still come together for the greater of their community and give back, because you guys put in a lot of sacrificed a lot of time, energy, and effort, and when nobody giving y'all gas cards back then.
Right. Yeah.
And you guys were working your regular jobs and still showing up and giving back to your community. And it's because of that. I know Georgie for a fact is very big on community. I know Mook, of anybody
Yeah.
in here,
All
is
you
very
guys,
big
man.
on giving back. Is very big on giving back and being a positive impact on this community. I know Joe Love is the same way. Me, I try my I now I don't try, I do, and
Yeah, man. You're
give
doing
back to
this
my
now.
community.
This is what you're doing right now, man. We appreciate you.
It's a
This is
start.
exactly what you're doing now, man.
It's a
I just
start, man.
I listen, Coach Kev. Without you being in you and Coach Ivan in my life, I I I don't know how I would have got here to this point to be able to be doing this. I'm just blessed. That's why I say you guys are blessings. All of us have been blessed by amazing. Um, I'm gonna say it: strong, amazing black men and leaders in our life. And I don't want to. I'm a very big on not always using race in every situation, but in this case, it's definitely needed, because you were strong black men leading young lost black men.
Yeah, we was unguided, man. We didn't have the guidance.
We didn't have guidance, and so from me, I'm gonna give Coach Ives flowers and say thank you to Coach Ives. But since I got you here, thank you, Coach Kev, also. And if anybody else wants to say anything, but as we get ready to end it, if you're working with certain nonprofit organizations or for-profit organizations, if you're doing community work or outreach or whatever it is, shout out to Joe Love. Well, his little boy is a little bit bigger now, but he just became a dad. So you better have him on the football field out there in Cali, bro. We better see another Love out there at some point.
He can make his own choice when he get older.
So shout out to that. But I want to give you guys an opportunity to shout out whatever you're working on. Everybody's welcome back, Coach Kev. If you come across or still in contact with other coaches, I love to even do an episode with nothing but other coaches who are still around getting to speak on it. George, me and you already spoke. Mook, bro, I know you're active in the community, and I know you still got reach to some of the other brothers. And I told you what we gonna work on later on with setting up and stuff like that. I want to do that too. But I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and start off. I'm gonna let Joe Love go first with any of the previous coaches or players or whoever it is you want to give your shout outs to. You want to shout out your wife, your kids. It's up to you, brother. Just be free, give your shout outs, and so we can get, do it the right way.
Let's give a shout out to the whole Volney Rogers League organization.
Yeah.
Dope. Did he mute himself?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you now. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like shout out to the whole Volney Rogers League, because if it wasn't for that league, there's no telling where I'd be at. But being in that league and football gave me the guidance to open up a lot of doors for me. Like I was able to play high school football and eventually go off to college. Even though I only played 2 years, I did get that opportunity to go to college. And without playing football, I probably would have never went to college, honestly.
Right.
So
open up doors.
Just shout out to everything, because it made me what I am today. And all my coaches, Coach Floyd, Coach Noob, Coach Jenkins, Coach Joe. It's like a lot of coaches I can name, but the whole Broncos organization.
Right.
And Coach Kev, you never was my coach, but I always seen you around though.
Sure, yeah.
I always seen you around. I knew you was.
And we scrimmage with Broncos all the time. We wanted to,
Yeah. My first loss in the championship was to the Knights.
I'm happy about that. Sorry, Joe.
Yeah.
Couldn't happen to a national team.
I'm gonna let Georgie go next.
Hey man, my shout out really, like you said, man, is to the whole Volney Rogers League, everybody that played in it, man, that played their part, coaching staff to booster clubs that back the teams that, like you said, was y'all wives or sisters, man. That stuff meant a lot to us, man. We used to have them hot dogs ready, everything else, snacks, all that stuff. When you come off the field, your chips, your juicies, you looked forward to that after the game. That might have been the only meal you was gonna get that day sometimes, So that whole league itself, man,
Michigan Cup
is really missed, man. And I'm gonna give a shout out, not because he's my brother, but I was hoping he would have been on the podcast tonight. Randy Triplett, man, and his organization right now.
Right, sure,
that's
absolutely.
with the East Low Bears, man. The turnaround of just even having to go through what he had to go through, and then coming home to visit. And now I'm sitting here listening to y'all. It reminded me of the same thing that our coaches was up against. My brother sat there, man. No matter what anybody think of, that boy pick up kids 3:00 in the afternoon. He start picking up kids,
right?
And then nobody's giving him gas. He's waiving fees for his kids to play. To keep the kids going. It's building a cohesion, man. And like you said, man, for a lot of us, man, I don't know if you still in the city, Mook, man. But like you said, bro, those of you that are still there that have not left, man, y'all background is what's basically keeping these kids to get y'all respect, man. So it's like they respect that. They look at my brother, he's still there. Dope athlete. They can look up, say, hey, man, he was a good athlete. Great athlete. You know what I'm saying? Like one of the ladies chimed in and said, "Hey, it's a new generation of mentors and leaders." Man, this right here, this podcast, thinking about, man, missing Volney Roger days, the coaching staff, is like, yeah, we needed home to reach these kids, man, to kind of like get them to step up, man, to see what we was missing, man, to get them that guidance. Because, like you said, our coaches, they ain't did nothing. If they still living, they done got older, so they can't really deal with everything that's up against them now with this new generation.
Yeah.
So it's like you say, the mentorship got to come from somewhere, man. And that's the mindset, man. Like I said, I told my brother, man, I'm proud of you just because of the fact that you taking the same attitude that we seen as little kids with your coaching staff, and y'all sticking together as brothers. Y'all tight. Everything you talking about the night organization, everything I experienced as an elk, everything I experienced as a Titan or a Panther, man, everything that I think everybody that played in Volney Rogers, every coaching staff had a brotherhood, man, because you didn't really see it. They might have fought against the other team, but they ain't fight against each other. You know what I'm saying? They had each other's backs. They was brothers. So for me, mentally, I look at it like, man, that's what's missing. But it felt so good coming back home to Youngstown, going to Rand Stadium and looking at everybody I played. Lil John Randall, dope athlete back in the day, you know, helping with the city schools now. Bruh, to see everybody in the stands watching these kids play, man, this is the first time I ever seen little kids play under the lights. Little league football, you know what I'm saying? They playing under the lights, bro. We never got that experience till we played at high school. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like you say, resources are there, man. It's just, this is motivating. This is needed to be done, man, because now it's like we got a experienced coach that's been in this league for decades, years, that can kind of give us mentorship and right guidance and help us kick down some doors. Because this need to be where, man, we get two teams from each side of town again, or whatever, or like do the battle of the teams. We can't have the battle of the whole Volney Rogers. Do the battle of the little bears, little tigers, little warriors, little Redmen. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You gotta have something. Bring it back, man, to get that culture, that pride, that togetherness for the city back, man. East side of town, man, because we all one city. Anytime anybody went from the city, I feel like we won. Any athlete.
Right.
That's all I want to see.
Yeah. Appreciate you, brother. All right. So I'm gonna let Mook go, bro. You got your shout outs, props you want to pay, or you want to let us know what you got going on, anything of that nature. Go ahead and do your thing, King.
Yeah, I want to just keep giving a shout out to Coach Kev and Coach Ives. Like I said, they're like a father figure. And the thing with them was, it wasn't, see, some relationships in sports is just coach and player, and it ends at that. It wasn't that type of relationship with them because they always invited me into their homes. You know, they was comfortable enough for me to be around their families. Coach Kev, your sons were like brothers to me.
Yeah, you are family, dude. You know,
you was always like down to earth. You was real easy to talk to. Like you was non-judgmental, and you guys are pretty much the first family that I seen that was like really had structure. They had good jobs. Your kids was going to good schools, and that stuff always inspired me. I always wanted to be like that. So, like being that, you know, I transformed my life. I always got that in my mind. Like you was really like the definition of Black excellence. Oh, I always looked at it like that. I always wonder, how did y'all get to that level, you and your wife, and then be able to provide for your children like that in some of the good schools.
Yes, sir.
You know.
Yes, sir.
And like I always envied that.
Gold,
and I always had that image of you guys like that in my mind, and that's part of what pushes me.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate that, man.
Bro, that's
Thank
dope,
you,
bro. That's dope.
Yo,
they the Cosbys. They the
yeah,
Cosbys, bro.
They was our real life Cosbys.
Yeah,
So
the
I'm
Youngstown
gonna finish
Cosbys.
I'm gonna finish my part, and then I'm gonna let Coach Kev close it out. Then we'll be done. This is a dream. This is a dream, to be with brothers I played against, played with, at some point in time and level, and a man who is responsible, whether he knows it or not, for me being humble, for me having that attitude that if you want it, you got to work for it, you got to fight for it, you got to push through it. Um, and like Mook says, like he gave you that. He gave you an idea and a glimpse into the life of structure. He gave you the idea to a man who cared. And we both go through our different things, different paths and turmoil, ups and downs in life. And when you find that balance or that thing that centers you and brings you back, you think about the people who helped you or who instilled principles into you to be able to find that center.
Yep.
And him and Coach Ivan were always them. If it was a foundation, they were my pillars. If I was lost at sea, for example, they were the guiding lights. They were the beacons. They were the lighthouses. The fundamentals that they instilled in us early. The hustle, the drive, the get up. You get knocked down, get back up quick. Like, yo, you can't quit. You got to keep pushing forward. So I've been dreaming about this podcast, doing this podcast and putting it together for years. And I don't think Coach Kev realizes just how much it's an honor and a privilege to be able to be put this together with these amazing individuals, but to have him on as a man who influenced me, who to a large degree saved my life. I'm blessed. I'm thankful. I'm here right now with the opportunity to put this out this is going out to the world. It's only going to be on YouTube, Spotify, Google, Amazon, all these different platforms. And I'm here with my arch nemesis, Joe Love. I'm here with the young brother who I met in high school and who had a work ethic and drive like no other. I'm here with a dude who I used to be terrified of and thought he would beat me up in Little League. But I guarded for him and shared a backfield with him in Little League, and who now goes around the world inspiring people, who has gone through so much in his early life, who has overcome so many obstacles. And to be able to have that blessing, to be able to reach out to this brother last minute, like, yo, Mook, I need you. I want to surprise Coach Kev because I know what you mean to him, but I know even more what he means to you. And Mook was like, bro, I'm not missing this. I'm there. Bro, that made me feel so good because I wanted to make Coach Kev feel so good. But I wanted to create this because I want to be able to make y'all coaches who meant that much to y'all feel good. I want to be able to share the wealth. Success in a community, successful Black people is not about the wealth you get, but the wealth you're able to spread, the opportunities you're able to give, the appreciation you're able to share. And that's what I want to do. So I'm going to let Coach Kev say his words, get ready to close it out. I want to thank him. I want to thank the Volney Rogers Foundation. I want to thank all the other players who have inspired me. Anthony Floyd. I want to give a special shout out to Wister Winford because he was like the guy who was super fly in equipment. He probably invented the triple or quadruple pad in the uniform. Wiz was like that dude. He was like the most flyest guy in equipment. And listen, if I wasn't going at Anthony Floyd, I wanted Wiz because he was just so fly. Shout out to Dewan Dukes, another guy who played with so much veracity, intensity. Benny Dukes, because that's where that dude probably got the record for the most concussions ever in Little League. Little Benny didn't care. He was like, he come and hit you. He didn't care at all. Shout out to Little Reggie, who lost his life if you were Northside Knight. Yep. You always seen Little Reggie at practice. Reggie Smith. Yep. You always seen Little Reggie run around on his little bike and everything like that. Little Reggie was always there. Andre Reeder, the same thing. R.I.P. to Ezel Armour, fellow Northside Knight. Boo, man. Like it's just so many things, and there's so many other brothers that I know that I'm forgetting. Shout out to Antoine McMeans,
Yeah.
He was a Bronco, and he played for the Knights too for a little bit. And
Right.
his brother Brian, played for the Knights for sure. Who lost his life. And there's so many other countless people we can do. But before I turn it over to Coach Kev, I want to thank you, man. You're
thank you, man.
Ever embedded in my life, the impact, and you make me be a better father. You make me be a better husband or fiance. You make me be just a better individual because you set the standard of Black excellence. And it wasn't about perfection. It was about hard work, grinding, and making it right even when it's wrong. So thank you.
You're welcome, sir. All right, man. I just want one quote, man. Whoever works the hardest, the longer wins. So I just want you guys to keep working hard and long, man. And you be successful, man.
Hey, man, that's some raw stuff, man.
Thank you, man. God bless y'all. Yo, this is
the
Down
man.
in the
Appreciate
Valley
you.
podcast. We appreciate all those who viewed and stayed along with us, and we had a pretty nice viewing, and we're gonna grow it. Yo, Deshaun Crenshaw said need to bring back the league, bro. Hey, I got to get you on because Deshaun was even nice for the Knights before he went off to high school and did his thing. Wasn't Sam a Knight too?
Oh, yeah.
Yo,
Sam's dad was coach with us, man. Right?
Yeah,
exactly. Right.
Yeah. So, I don't want to be biased, even though I'm biased because Northside Knights. But bro, anytime if y'all got people, Coach Kev, Joe Love, anybody, y'all got people. This is our platform. I made this for us. If y'all got people, we need to give them their proper love and respect. Let's do it. Let's utilize this platform. We have availability to push it to the world. I'm willing to work hard for y'all to give out that respect for them as y'all are. So God bless you. Thank y'all. And good night.
Good night,
No doubt, man. Hey, nice talking to everybody. Mook, man, nice meeting you, Coach. Hey, nice meeting you again too, man.
Yes, I appreciate it. And we get together again. Yes, sir.
Salute, definitely. Hey, Jamar, man, you start this up. How many times you want to do it every week? I don't know, twice a month. I'm with it, bro.
As long as we got the participants to the pot. Hey, Joe Love. Hey, he better be fast as you.
Probably a better running back.
All right, love Mook, bro. I appreciate you slowing down your schedule to make this happen, bro.
Hey, George.
Yo.
Yeah, my little nephew is the quarterback for the Broncos. I mean, for the East